less than 7 days to get this thing running, riding, and ripping at Matt's Off-Road Games against the Peck Brothers and Bums. Literally next week, Sunday, is when I have to leave for Utah. And in this week's video, we get the clutch done. We get the shifter done. This thing is absolutely sick. Listen to it, listen to it. This thing is freaking amazing. And we take it for a tiny, tiny rip. And by tiny, I mean literally do a tiny little burnout and move it like 7 feet ahead. But that's this week's video. Next week, we should be jumping this thing. I literally have to. So, welcome to Speed Freaks. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate every single one of you. Let's get to it. And since in last week's video, we got the first most important thing done on any project, which is the actual throttle. It goes gas, clutch, brakes. And the only reason it goes in that order is because who needs brakes? They only slow you down, and this thing's a damn race car. So we're gonna get this piece done. We need to do the clutch first, and then we're gonna do the brakes last, obviously, just like I said. And I don't know if I'm gonna do a hand brake because I think that'd be kind of cool, get some camera shots of me like that, or if I'm just gonna do a left and right foot where you can differentiate or you can hit them both at the exact same time. Don't really know. We're gonna figure this out together, but I do know how I'm gonna do the clutch. Super simple, hopefully. But let's get started. Welcome to Speed Freaks. So we got our piece of metal right here, and now all we need to do is get this piece all chopped up and cut out on our arc droid. But first we need to get to actually drawing this out. I drew it up over the weekend. I think it's gonna work, but I don't really know yet. You never know until you put it into practice. So we're gonna get started on getting this thing drawn up and cut out on the arc droid.
Step into my circle with the opposite of Urkel. When I pull up flying purple, people eaters could invite me. I seal the fate of Herschel. And I just leave them on the limb and hand them my business. Since rappers are walking that I already killed them.
The arc droid cut out a lot of pieces, and then I had to make some pieces. I forgot to film that part, but I'm gonna put this kind of together to show you guys what I'm talking about here. This is exactly how it's gonna look. Now, obviously we need to add a notch in here so we can actually put our cable in there. I think I'm gonna add 2 grease zerks to both of these, and then obviously shaft foot pedal. I went with more of a wider foot pedal rather than skinny, just so that when you're jumping or whatever, if you really, you're off or way up in the corner, you're still gonna touch it. I don't know if I'm gonna weld it to this base plate or bolt it. We still have to add gussets underneath of these little plates on either one of these sides so that they're really beefy strong. Obviously these mounting points are beefy. We just need to make sure that the base plates are. That's why this one's an 1/8 inch, that one's a little thinner, because you're not really pushing on the brakes as hard as you are the clutch, because this cable is really hard to pull, where those are just hydraulic. So I'm actually gonna get started on cutting out the little notch that we need, welding this all together, and then building the tabs so that we can have a clutch for this Rat Rod Roadster. Alright, so the pedal is made up. Now all we need to do is, because I made this, grab a little piece of metal on the arc droid that comes around here so that it holds this piece tight. Now, I do have over here this little piece of aluminum that if I take out, should have probably took it out before I started filming. You actually can use this to tighten and loosen that cable so we can actually have a little bit of a tensioner just in case it ever gets loose. You can tighten it up, and then obviously it'll help me just in case I'm off by a little bit. I can tighten it or loosen it. So I'm gonna get started on actually making this part, and then we'll weld this in there. We should have a clutch.
And this part was actually one of the easiest things in the entire build, so didn't really have much time to really film anything cool for you.
So this bad boy is now in there. All we need to do now is basically just twist it and make sure that it doesn't come out. I might just add like a little pin clip that comes around this side right here. But all we're gonna do basically is just weld it somewhere where it's a little bit less in the way. I think I'm gonna bend this little tab a little bit to the right and then back up so that I can maybe move this a lot further to the right while still maintaining good pedal contact. So we're gonna get started on welding all this stuff together, or tacking it. Make sure it works, and then if it works good, weld it up and we have a clutch. It's making me live it, defending my concept for winning, but let me alone. The pressure is taking its toll and I don't even know how to get it to go. I'm trying to find a predicament, leading me and my career to a throne. I try to be. Alright, little POV of how to get it. Oh, So now that we got the clutch in there, it's actually really easy to kick this thing. Oh, fuck.
I did fix it.
We're gonna build the shifter. I think it's gonna be about right here. It's gonna just be, I don't think pistol grip, but something that you can easily grab onto real quickly. Because the only reason, I know a bunch of you are gonna say that I'm the dumbest person in the world and how stupid that is. First reason, absolutely 6 shots of me shifting the crap out of this thing. Second reason, the next car that I build after Pinky when she goes back to the horsepower rodeos with a true 600 horsepower, she's already being worked on right now. I'm going to be building a monstrous car. You think anything on the internet you've seen has been monstrous? I'm telling you, it is not comparable to that car. This thing's gonna be crazy, but it has a shifter on the left-hand side, and it also has a clutch on the left-hand side because it's not a car engine, but it's basically going to be faster than a car engine. So, need a bit of practice. If I can shift and I can clutch on this thing, I can do it on that thing because I'm gonna be jumping this thing. Oh, we're gonna get started on building these actual little linkages. Should not be that hard, I say that, but this one actually shouldn't be that hard. We're gonna get started on building a little shifter and the mounts for this thing.
Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believed me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah.
So the shifter is in there and it looks pretty good. I think it's actually gonna be about right there is where its neutral position is gonna sit. The only reason that we're doing a shifter like this, quite literally just for the videos, man. I mean, a camera of me shifting like this with it, like me clutch kicking the crap out of this thing with a camera right here is gonna absolutely look sick on the videos. I don't know if I'm gonna have to lengthen this arm a little bit. This was just a piece off of the original, the shaft that went right there. And I don't really know if it's long enough or if it's short enough. That's why I have this little cable right here to figure out how much upward travel it has so it's not all the way like back here. I just want enough that you can see it, but not enough that it's like a problem and you're fully into your stomach. And all we're gonna do now is just drill a hole through there, hook this wire up, and see how far it goes back. But now that we got this piece all cut out, all we need to do now is just put a couple bends in it. Cut it out of a quarter just so that I can actually make these weld together a little bit better so it's just one bolt rather than having that dual bolt situation. And when you bend, 1/8 inch, it gets a lot less strong. So we're just gonna bend this piece to where it comes around here and then it's a little bit of a straight up and down shot now rather than it being at such an angle. So we're gonna get that done, bent up, and then we'll have a shifter after we get the little bar all done up in here, but we need to figure out the throw and all that before we do that, so let's get started. And obviously we're not just gonna leave this part flat, we're gonna add some cool holes to it. The only reason I didn't have the arc droid do that is because it takes up a lot of consumables to do each hole because it's having to start and stop and start and stop, and I'm trying to save as much money as possible because those are like 25 bucks for a pack of 5. So if my redneck calculations are correct, it has 1.5 inches up and 1.5 inches down, so it's actually not that bad. That's basically equates to about this far forward and then about yay far backwards. So that's full back, and when you're sitting in there, that's actually not bad. It gives it a good look and it gives it a great feel, and I'm pretty sure that this is gonna be absolutely sick on camera because just that shot alone of me shifting that thing with a foot pedal is actually gonna be sick. So we're gonna get started on tack welding this piece in here, and then we're gonna start building our rod that goes straight down to here. I caught myself before I did it. I almost welded this piece on here and it's backwards. So I'm actually kind of gonna have to recalculate because there's a bit of a curve in this piece to this piece. I never said I was smart. I've never claimed to be smart, but we're gonna get that fixed.
Let me relax. Stop assuming what we doing. Keep it moving. What we doing.
Okay, better camera angle, but you gotta admit that looked pretty sick. I mean, if you could see me hitting that thing and drifting that thing sideways or something. So now all we need to do is quite literally just drill a hole and put it on that little bar. It's literally just gonna be a steel flat piece of metal that has a hoop, and then it goes up into this little skinny piece right there, bolts up. Let's get started on getting that thing done. All we need to do is just get cutting on the arc droid, and I think I'm just gonna tap this hole real quick. I think instead of doing a full through bolt, I'm just gonna tap it, insert it, and then cut the end off, and then just weld it on the back side so that it's one solid bolt, and basically that's just it. We got a sequential shifter, boys. Wham, 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 wham. That thing is sick. All we need to do now is literally just cut out this little bar. Let's get it, girl.
Into my circle with the opposite of Urkel. When I pull up flying purple, people eaters couldn't bite me. I still the fate of Herschel. And I just leave them on the limb and hand them my business. His rappers are walking that I already.
So now that this bad boy is finally cut out, let's get it drilled out. I need to drill this top hole. I got the bottom one all cut out, but I'm just gonna drill it actually and get that thing in there.
Like pronto, sayonara. Kamikaze rocking body armor when I change lanes. Hard enough to body box to pull and shake his mainframe. He got shook and disappeared. Etch a sketch, and ever since nobody heard his bullshit for 8 days. I sacrificed some great relationships due to a passion I was chasing quick. But when you've got everything to lose and nothing to gain, and let's make it.
All right, wanna see something cool? Wham, 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 wham. The race car noises were necessary. You wanna hear it? It sounds sick. I think it's actually time to test if we can drive this thing now. Throttle's done, clutch is done, that's done. Let's give it a test rip. Not a rip, a little move forward. I did, however, forget that there's this little connector right here that actually is a little kill switch for your clutch. So the bike won't start unless you have this little clutch pulled in. So I'm pretty sure you can just bypass that by connecting the wires. If this thing's literally just a switch, you should be able to bypass it, right? So we're gonna solder those two wires together down there. I need to find the connector real quick. And then we'll do a little test move and see how well she does. We're obviously gonna fix this, but I'm like 99% sure that this is gonna work. I'm kind of nervous. Let's freaking go, boys. Let's go. Let's go! I obviously knew that that was more than likely gonna work, but my luck sucks. So in my luck, it could have popped everything and the thing would have never run again a day in its life. But it didn't. So we're gonna get that piece fixed and then we're actually gonna try to run and drive this thing. Like a little drive, but you know what I mean. Is everybody ready for some excitement? Because I sure know I am. I'm shaking. I'm literally shaking. Where's the key? Of course, it's all the way up there. You're making this less epic. I haven't adjusted the clutch yet, so I literally do not know if this thing is just gonna roll forward, and I have kinda no way of killing this thing. Hit the button. Oh, I killed it. I killed it. Why are you doing this to me? It just backfired. That was awesome. Now, all we have to do is just finish up welding everything, just gusset everything on this side. I actually quite literally spent the last like 5 hours building something over here. This little foot piece was supposed to go on the back of the original piece, which was, it looked like this before. It was supposed to go back here. It was just gonna actuate the rear foot pedal, and that's how you're gonna do the rear brake. Now, I spent 4 hours making sure that this thing looked all nice and clean, and it was literally back here. It actuated, it had an arm that would move this because we're trying to keep this thing simple. We're trying to keep it cheap so that if something breaks, all we gotta do is just buy a replacement part for a quad. That's the whole reason that this thing was ever being built. This is literally simple. All I had to do was cut out like a 4-inch section right here, and we have rear brakes. This is actually comfortable. It's the same knee level as all the other ones, except now it just works. And you can easily kick it, and if I need to replace that, it's like a $10 part rather than making a bunch of weirdness that can break. And it's 1 o'clock in the morning. You can probably tell by my eyes that it's 1 o'clock in the morning. And I'm gonna get some rest and edit this video for you guys so you can have a video every Sunday. I'm trying. We're 3 weeks, going 3 weeks strong right now. But stay freaky, everybody.